Week 17 is here. Bert and Liam going to rip the Week 17 games against the spread. What's going on, everybody? Liam and Bert here to pick the Week 17 NFL games against the spread. Bert, how you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Good, man. Had a great Week 16. Usually would go pretty long with this show, I figured, with us fooling around with the playoff content, but I'm starving. I just ordered some sushi. Bert wanted to rip it now, so, we'll see how long we go, but we're going to start by reviewing how our picks went last week. Don't call it a heater, but the rumor is I'm going on a heater. Some are calling it that after a rough start to the year. For those who know me primarily for my best ball content, we do NFL content for enjoyment, just to talk it up. I finished 9-6 last week. Bert at 8-7, a cute 8-7, they may say. Clap, 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 Bert. Good effort. Not 9-6. Don't worry about the units for the year. That's not that important. But yeah, real excited. I'm going to be going on a ski trip tomorrow up by where Bert lives. For those who don't know, I was at hey, if you're hearing us, Twitch fam, let us know. For those who don't know, I was at Bert's bachelor party when I won Best Ball Mania 2. So, we had to make sure we were with Bert for the Week 17 finals, which I do have some Best Ball sweats. You could check out my YouTube channel for those if you haven't seen it. But all right, Bert, let's, real quick. Here's the record. Let's go through those games real quick, rapid fashion. What stuck out to you? We don't have to hit each game, but what stuck out to you as far as any of the big ones?
Yeah, I think that we were talking about it on the phone a little bit before this, but just the kind of collapse, or also just the in general awesome addition of the extra wild card team this year, because at this point, like, the playoffs would be wrapped up and everybody would be just like jockeying for seeding, but we got 3 or 4 teams that still have a shot here. I think that's awesome. And then Miami losing really kind of just blowing that wide open for teams like mine, the Patriots, who, I don't even know if I want to see them make the playoffs and kind of go through that. But, it's going to be cool to have, as long as they win next week, which that's not guaranteed at all, but, 2 weeks of meaningful football potentially versus it just kind of playing out the string. And then I thought also another really cool thing was the Bills getting stuck in Chicago. That looks like a pretty good time. Those videos I saw of Josh Allen bartending. I think it was the Pardon My Take guys or something like that got it set up for them. I heard later on, but just a cool little thing that, you forget that these guys are, in the midst of their 20s and 30s and still want to go out and have a good time and making the best of a situation that we've all been there, not being able to get to family during the holidays.
Yeah, Buffalo obviously not a town known for its supreme nightlife, but with them having such a winning culture, it's kind of nice that you do see some family oriented players kind of later in their career. It's not exactly how you build a franchise, but like Von Miller, obviously I don't think he's trying to, like, the LA nightlife, probably he's like, I've done that. Like, let's go be remembered in Buffalo was his goal, I think. Because whoever does bring a Super Bowl to Buffalo, if it's not this year, those people will be heroes to a community forever. A couple of spots I wanted to talk on. Ravens winning, low-key big. I believe they locked up a spot with that win.
Do. No, they did.
So they don't even really need to play.
Well, they're playing for a home game. Because if
playing for the home game, but if
they win this weekend, then I think their game against Cincinnati in Week 18 will be for a home game.
Yeah, so I mean, I think they're technically winning the division right now.
No, Cincinnati is leading the division right now.
I think everyone views the Bengals as better than the Ravens. But you know, we haven't had Lamar, who's obviously a game changer for them. Lions losing, that's kind of a blow. That's a bummer for the Lions. They could still make it. They're just unlikely now. The Panthers needed to win that. They have a huge game against the Bucs this week. Jets losing was whatever. I want the Jags to make it, so they're now 75% to make it. And they're in an interesting spot where both the Texans and the Jaguars, it almost doesn't matter what happens this week. They could win or lose. They could tie. Whoever wins the game Week 18 will win the division. And the Jaguars have a little bit more incentive to play their starters because they can still make it with a loss against the Titans if they beat the Texans with some weird, backhand math, but it's pretty long odds. So I would expect them to pull the guys late in the game if they're winning by a lot, or if they get info from the Miami Patriots game, because that will determine. I believe if the Dolphins are winning big, which maybe is unlikely if Bridgewater's playing, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They have.
Well, yeah, I think I saw that Jacksonville and Tennessee, regardless of their results this week, will be playing for the 4th playoff spot, no matter what happens.
They will, but the Jags can still make it with a loss to the Titans, technically, if a lot of things
some things play out. Yeah.
But
I think the Titans will definitely rest all their guys next week. I mean,
it would be crazy not to, and I think the Jags, the Jags are a bit younger of a team, but we'll see what they do. Anyways, Bengals were blown out the Patriots. Patriots fumbled it away at the end there. Obviously, disappointing if you're a Patriots fan, but, kind of surprised the Bengals let them back into it. Vikings, Giants, it's whatever. The Giants are low-key pretty likely to make it now.
Yes. They, I think when I checked today on their playoff odds, they're up to 90% now.
Yeah, with a loss, just shows you how it is. The last spot's going to come down to the NFC between the Commanders, the Packers, the Lions, and the Seahawks. Steelers winning, they could get the wild card. I said on Twitter that they would be the worst team to ever be a playoff team, but then a friend of the channel, Justin Herzig, who won Best Ball Mania 1, was like, yeah, they'd be the worst team since the Big Ben Steelers from last year. But, that's a good point. However, I do think this team's a little worse.
But the fact that team getting in last year was so crazy,
and that just shows you what the 7th team is. The 7th team is usually not, unless the 7th team is which
is how it should be. By the way, the 2 seed used to have a bye, they should be playing a tomato can.
Sure, the only time that the 7th seed is a real threat, I think, is a case like this year. If the Chargers or the Dolphins are the 7th seed, that's not a team you want to draw as the 2 seed. The Chargers are capable of beating anyone and capable of losing anyone. So they're one of the worst teams you could draw as a favorite, I think.
Yeah, or even a better example of a bad 7 seed to play, I think, would be if Deshaun hadn't sucked when he came back, and all of a sudden they, have an elite quarterback.
Sure. If the Ravens lost more games without Lamar, and then Lamar got
back. And then all of a sudden they get their kingmaker back, and now you're 2 seed playing.
If the Bills or Chiefs had lost their quarterback and sneaked in as the 7th seed, now they got that's oh shit.
Yeah.
Eagles Cowboys, low key shows kind of shocking that Jalen Hurts is only worth 3.5 points against the spread. It low key shows the Cowboys maybe aren't in the same class as these upper echelon teams, with them eking out this win against a Gardner Minshew Eagles, but the Eagles just have a loaded roster. Texans Titans, I'm not actually surprised the Texans won with Malik Willis at quarterback. They're treading water right now, the Titans.
I was surprised. I think the Texans still retain the number 1 pick. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
So it's a little surprising, but I guess they come out and say, hey, let's try and win one of these last couple, but it's surprising that they would win one this late in the season with that kind of locked up for them.
Yeah, but I mean, like when you're facing a guy who can't throw the ball and you know their only threat is Derrick Henry, they did the logical thing, which is like they just have 10 dudes in the box. And Derrick
Yeah.
Henry did break away one run, but it wasn't enough. And we're always a fan of the Jeff Driscoll, Davis Mills combo.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Packers winning, big win for the Packers. I don't know if you saw the hit on Twitter to Tua where it's looking like they maybe missed a potential concussion in game. And then Tua played awful. And, you know, the
Well,
hit.
no, but if you look at his first half stats, he had like something like 6 completions for 200
Okay, but
yards.
you know, the Dolphins and the Niners have two of the most quarterback-proof, offenses in the NFL. Like he threw the ball.
No, but I'm just like he can't. Like his first half was not bad, and then his second half was just really
Yeah.
bad.
Well, it looks like he took a type of hit like he got in another game where it's like the whiplash thing. And I said it in the first game, the very first game the Dolphins played the Bills, and Tua got clearly concussed and let him back in. I was like, this is mismanagement. And now it kind of seems like they missed another concussion. Some people are saying Tua should sit the year. I'm not saying that. I think it's crazy if he plays this game. But
I'm just more of the mindset that
I mean, we hope he's okay.
no, of course, but it's just like this is it's an impossible job. Like you're trying to figure out in a 40-second play clock if this guy needs to come out, and the Patriots ran into it a couple weeks ago, and I think it's probably mostly on the coaches or probably your wide receivers coach for not picking it up, or everybody's looking at the quarterback. I know that, but it's one of those things that like
I'm not going to fault them for missing this one on Tua, which unless you watch in slow-mo, you maybe not have seen it. But the one against Buffalo I thought was egregious, and I thought it was them deciding at the time this win is worth more to us than anything. And I thought that was crazy. And we'll see what that does to Tua. Broncos, Rams. I mean, did anyone see this coming? Like,
Well, once, yeah. I mean, Nathaniel
Hackett fired. He's a bozo, obviously. But the Rams to lay 51 on anyone with Baker Mayfield.
And the Broncos defense, nonetheless.
And the if the Broncos loudly quit, like there's all this quiet quitting discussion. I think they loudly quit. I was sweating. I had a team in this big best ball high stakes league, and I thought it was all but locked up. I just needed Jalen Waddle not to go off. I just needed Baker Mayfield not to do anything. Oh shit, Waddle starts the game like that. Oh God, Baker Mayfield has the game of his life in the first half, and then I'm like needing all these Cam Akers touchdowns in the goal. I'm like, pull your starters, and I luckily got there. I needed to fade Fournette too. He had a good game, but not enough. So,
do you think Russ is done, or new coach he kind of gets it back?
I think there's a lot of bad coaches in the NFL who think that their system is hot shit, and they try to do square holes and round pegs, and someone out there can fix Russ probably with like a rollout offense, and if he humbles himself, but an undesirable coaching place. It's sounding like rumor is they're going to clean up shop, fire Elway, fire everyone.
Yeah, I mean it's nice to see it not work out for them, because this is the second time they've done this where they draft and do whatever and and really paint themselves into a corner, and then just go and get the biggest free agent on the market. And it's just, it was frustrating when they did it with Manning, and then it was frustrating when they did it with Wilson, and I'm just glad it didn't work.
Well, they didn't get a free agent; they traded for them. But
they traded for Russ. They signed Peyton, but
I think the Broncos and Rams.
But Russell had control of where he could get traded to. So I mean, it's still pretty much like
the Broncos and the Rams are two of the worst setup teams for the future, because they decided everyone thinks they're so smart by building through the draft. We're gonna build through trading, and I think it's if the Rams didn't win that Super Bowl last year, which I think they got real lucky to face the Bengals, they would have nothing. They'd have nothing to show for all those investments.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the kind of the rub. Right?
Well, hey, it worked. Good for them, but it was still bad process. And the Broncos now being set up terribly for the future. punishes the bad process rightly.
Both teams that had Von Miller, who only went to the Bills to be remembered forever, Super Bowl MVP, 2-time Super Bowl champion.
And Von's out for the year, unfortunately. Bucks barely beating the McSorley-led Cardinals. Jesus, man, these Bucks are awful.
Great comeback. That's how I saw it.
They are. Brady and the Bucks are bad. I saw a rumor today that Brady and Sean Payton are gonna link up in for the Saints.
Yeah, I mean that would be cool.
Which honestly, I mean,
I heard Sean Payton to Denver even, which is the one that makes sense.
Well, I've heard that's dead. I've heard that him going to the Chargers is dead now that they made the playoffs because, it's kind of be weird to fire Staley for that. And then
it wouldn't be the first. Mike Mularkey got fired.
Wouldn't be the first. Like I think the Cowboys coach gets fired if they get a first round exit. But,
yeah,
staying within. Choosing easy, like I saw some chatter like, oh, Aaron Rodgers to the Jets makes all the sense in the world. And I put it out. I think it's no mistake. Like the Jets have a loaded roster, sans quarterback, but it's not a mistake that Brady ended up in a very weak division. He chose that. And I think Aaron would not want to go to a division with Buffalo and Miami, even with a good team. But, Brady staying in this division with like maybe a better team in the Saints, who they have Chris Olave, they have young pieces. That makes sense to me. Chargers, Colts. The Chargers weren't impressive. They won. They locked up a playoff spot. I saw some discussion, which I am inclined to agree with, which is basically there's 6 good teams in the NFL and everyone else is not good. Those teams are the Bills, the Chiefs, the Bengals, the Cowboys, the Eagles, and who am I forgetting?
The Niners, probably.
And the Niners, yes. And yeah, those are like no arguments here. Would be even kind of shocking for the Ravens to make the Super Bowl. Like wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean all of that is true, but then it was, and this doesn't happen all the time, but I would not have put Cincinnati in that group last year, and they ended up almost, going to they go the fourth quarter with 4 minutes left, leading. So
yeah, I think you wouldn't have done that just because you weren't sure about Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase was a rookie. You just were like, well, but
yeah, I mean they didn't play a single home playoff game, did they? I mean, like they weren't a team that I was like, this is a team that's when they beat the Chiefs, that was shocking. Like,
yeah, especially because of the way they did it. It was such a huge comeback. But okay, let's get into the Week 17 games now. Bert, I have known who's playing who for Week 17 since the day the schedule dropped because these are the games where all the money is made for best ball. So these are the one games I'm more prepped for than anything probably. Let me just get my spreadsheet open so that we can pull this up after. But we're starting off with Cowboys Titans again. The Derrick Henry practiced today. However, it's possible, if not likely, that he is sat for this game. The Titans have literally nothing to play for and everything to lose. So, Bert, how do you say?
Yeah, it's so well. I mean, not everything. Even if they lose, it. Yeah, I guess you could lose somebody to injury, but even if they lose this game, it doesn't matter. So I mean, which is obviously what we were talking about, but I just can't imagine Tennessee, and even with Vrabel kind of being, as some people would put it, a knuckle dragger, a carnivore, or whatever. I would say that I would be shocked if they really put.
Tune in now, guys. I know you're out there.
Put too much effort into this one, knowing that. The best they can do is a 4 seed, and the worst they can do is a 4 seed. And this game doesn't matter to them. So, yeah, give me Dallas here minus 10.5, who has something significant to play for.
Dallas minus 10.5. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know how. I think what the Titans will do is, even though Tannehill I think is out for the year, is Malik Willis has looked rough, and even though you're probably dead to make the playoffs if he gets injured this game. How do you not let the guy get more reps? Like, he needs reps. He gets to face a good defense in the Cowboys. You got to let Malik Willis play this game. And I don't think that's necessarily even a good thing for their chances of winning. Like, let Malik Willis take chances, grow from this game. Because what's the Titans' goal? Limp into the playoffs and then get bounced? No, like, they need Malik Willis to play well to even have a chance. So I'm going to take Dallas minus 10.5. It's a huge spread. Dallas might just squat on this lead, but if the Titans are smart, I think they let Malik Willis throw and try to get in a rhythm, and that might go poorly for them, leading to pick sixes. So give me Dallas minus 10.5. Next up, Colts at the Giants. Pretty shocked to see this line. Who knows who's going to play quarterback for the Colts? Matt Ryan was inactive last week. Nick Foles threw like 17 picks. Sam Ehlinger is awful, but I'm, of course, rolling with the Giants, who I'm guessing they're going to get a ton of turnovers, and they are just going to ride Saquon. And, the Colts have a good D-line, and the Giants don't have great pass catchers, but no, I would guess they do that formula, and eventually their defense is going to break after just being on the field so much. So give me the Giants minus 5.5.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if Indy's been mathematically eliminated yet, but their season is over. I think they have actually.
They're eliminated.
Yeah, this is a contender versus not contender at all game, and Jeff Saturday can give the best speech in the world. I don't think that this team is coming in and snatching a playoff spot from this team that's already kind of limping down the stretch. It'd be really tragic to see the Giants not get in because of losses to the Colts down the stretch. So give me New York here, minus 5.5.
Yeah, and Mariota's on IR, so they can't even do that. Also on the Falcons, but thanks for tuning in, James. The Giants, they're kind of a team that just like grind you out, run the ball. So although I don't think they're that talented, they're probably not the best matchup for a contender to pull in the playoffs either, because they're a team that tries to play defense, tries to win with like Saquon and Daniel Jones moving the chains. They try to play this like low possession offense, high variance game that things can break right for them. And, great teams can be beat by that. Saints at the Eagles. Jalen Hurts said he's going to try to play. The Eagles don't really have much incentive to play him. Who knows what the Saints are going to do at quarterback? They let Taysom play quite a bit, not as much as I think they should have last week. How do you see this one, though, Bert?
Yeah, so the Saints are still alive. So this is two teams, kind of in this desperate position. I think Gardner Minshew played great in that Dallas game.
Did. I mean, he's got great weapons. It's a pretty,
and if he ends up playing again, I mean, even then, the way New Orleans has looked down the stretch, it feels like they're kind of the next team to go down here. So give me Philly minus 7.
Yeah, I don't know how you take the Saints. I guess their best course is like play Taysom. Chris Olave has a hamstring. We don't know if he's going to play. Jarvis Landry might not play. The Eagles are just a very complete team. I think Jalen Hurts, I think A.J. Brown would eat Marshawn Lattimore alive if they try to play like this lockdown coverage where he just gets open at will. He's very strong. He almost like scored to start that Eagles game. Got like tackled at like the 10. So definitely give me the Eagles minus a touchdown. Okay. This next one. Surprised this line isn't bigger, honestly. We got the Broncos plus 13.5 against the Chiefs. I'll quickly pull up.
Who's the named coach for Denver this week? Do we know?
I don't even know who that is. They should let Peyton do it for like vibes or something.
He would never do that.
Of course he would not do that. But here's my best ball team in the high stakes leagues I'm rooting for. If you can't tell, it's got Mahomes, McKinnon, and Kelsey. So I'm all Chiefs Nation this week. And the Broncos, although they seem to have played inspired football against the Chiefs the last time they played them, maybe because it's a division game, like they give better effort. They just allowed the Rams to score 50 against them. So I'm rolling with the Chiefs, who have not looked perfect against some bad teams. But, give me the Chiefs minus 13.5. Second time they're playing them. I'm sure Mahomes will be even better. So, like the Chiefs side.
Yeah, known pop that you get for bringing an interim coach, and minus 13.5 is a big line. So Denver might be tempting here, but it's just unfathomable that this team is not going to kind of just go out with the whisper throughout the rest of the season. I mean, I think the Patriots might have gotten the Jags last year off the Urban Meyer firing. In season, first year coaches getting fired is almost it's so bad that I think they won like 50-7 or something like that. Like, so yeah, give me KC. This is a spot where I think they hang a lot of points.
I hope so. Next game is the Texans plus 4.5 against the Jags. Again, the Jaguars have a bit of incentive to win this game, but not really that much, because if they beat the Titans the next week, then they're in the playoffs. I saw them at 75% to make the playoffs as of today. Something the Jags will do as well, I imagine, is they would scoreboard watch the Dolphins Patriots game, because if, I don't think that's very likely, but if it is a blowout at half on the Dolphin side, then they can't even make the wild card anymore. So, or if the Dolphins are up big in the fourth, or if the Jags are winning up big in the fourth, I would expect they would pull their starters. So how do you see this one going, though, Bert?
Yeah, this is a shoot me in the head game. Like, it's a two teams not incentivized to win. One team you could even say is incentivized to lose, because I think they probably lose the one pick if they lose this, or if they win this game. I guess you got to take Houston plus 4.5 here, just because of how they've been playing these other teams close, and Jacksonville not really having any reason to win this game outside of that kind of weird scenario. So yeah, I guess give me Houston plus 4.5.
I'm taking Houston too. I mean, Houston's a team that's easier to run on. The Jags probably want ETN for the playoff / the Titans game. I mean, they're a team that could go on a run. Like, the Jags are they look legit against the Jets, where that was a really good defense. And Doug Peterson schemed up like a lot of touches to Evan Ingram. They looked really good. Like, I think the Jags can legit, like, obviously maybe the talent of their whole roster isn't there yet, but they could upset anyone in the NFL.
It is an interesting because Doug Peterson obviously got fired from Philadelphia for not playing a competitive game, his last game of the season. You
Which
wonder
was the dumbest thing ever. Like, can you imagine if the who's the team that blew getting Trevor because they had to win some late game?
the Jets, because they went.
If the Jets had lost that game, they would have Trevor right now, and we'd be like, "Holy shit, the Jets look great for the future."
Yeah, or we'd be saying Zach Wilson is really the Mormon Mahomes, and Trevor has been broken by this, terrible organization.
That would happen. I think Trevor would be Trevor.
No, but I just think it's just a weird situation. Yeah, it was so obviously dictated to him to not win that game, and then to fire him for But I mean, we're getting in the weeds on that. But
yeah, that was that was a weird thing. But the the Jags in one way, I like the Jags to go on a deep run. On the other hand, who knows who's playing this game? So just give me the Texans, and they've been playing spirited football. This next game is pretty big playoff implications. Let's pull up the who's the one that has like the little, what's the New York Times playoff thing?
So the one that you can put in wins and losses is the New York Times. The one that is just like, what does it look like right now, is 538. And this one has that too. So this is probably better.
I want to put in the wins and losses, and I want to see how things. I think I can just change this. I want to see how things switch for. Yo, chill, New York Times. I don't have a
They
subscription.
always do that. It's like
I want to see how things switch for if the Panthers beat the Bucks.
how the Buffalo Bills can make the playoffs. That seems outdated.
Okay, well, we can't do that. Screw you, New York Times.
Great segment. This is a great segment.
Great segment. Can you not put in wins and losses on 538?
You
Oh,
can.
you can now.
No. Oh, you can?
No, you can. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you
All right,
previously
so
did.
Panthers win. If the Panthers win, they flip the. No, not a tie. So if the Bucks win, they're in. If the Panthers win, they're at 65%. And how do I just make it go away? And so they flip the Bucks. They're not a lock if they make it, but I mean, I don't know. Do you want to make the playoffs if you're the Panthers? I would guess no. You give up like a top 10 pick to be a first round exit.
I don't know. Dude, these are NFL players. Like some of these guys.
I'm saying the players want to win games. They're not thinking that. Sam Darnold's not thinking that. DJ Moore's not thinking that. However,
like Sam Darnold has never been to the playoffs in his life. Like
however, some of the general manager / owner might be in the coach's ear, like, you're going to play this guy, like, I don't know. But
yeah, I mean, that's what we were talking about with the Doug Peterson thing, right? But yeah, it'd be very surprising if Carolina doesn't come out here rocked, locked, ready to rock.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Part of me thinks that only really the Bucks want to make the playoffs. I don't want the Bucks to win this game, but I'm gonna take the Bucks -3 because the Panthers, although I think they want
terrible St. Pete area Floridian dude to not want the Bucks and
I don't want the Bucks to win / Brady. I think it'd be hilarious if he lost, but like, what a gift it's been to NFL fans to see Rodgers and Brady flailing this year. But
what a gift.
I don't think the Panther. I think DJ Moore will do fine, but I'll take the Bucks -3.
Yeah, I mean, I think you kind of have to. I mean, Carolina got him earlier this year. It'd be very surprising for Brady to get swept. Todd Bowles is not.
They're just not good at all, though. Like the Bucks is the issue.
Yeah, I mean, it's just God, it would just be surprising for them to get swept by the Panthers. But not impossible.
Like everyone in the NFL was saying the Panthers were like the worst team in football.
And I said they could beat Denver
once they traded CMC, and now they are fighting for the playoffs. All right, my sushi's here, so we're gonna rip through the rest of these games. Bears at Lions. How do you see it, Bert?
I mean, I feel like you got to take Detroit here in a spot that their season's on the line. They're pretty much dead, but if they can keep it alive, I think they probably do. It was surprising they lost to Carolina the way they did last week. So give me Detroit -6 here. Chicago gets waxed last week at home, and they're just playing out the string here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to take the Lions too, which actually makes Bert and I having the same exact picks for all the games so far, which, hey, that's going to happen sometimes. But Jared Goff at home versus away, his stats are like wildly different. The Lions need to win this game to have any chance. The Bears, I think Justin Fields even got banged up in that game. Fields could go absolutely nuclear on Ford Field in the Dome, but the Lions are just a better team. And I hope they play Jameson Williams a little bit here, getting them ready for the playoffs if they're going to. Okay, next one is Dolphins at Patriots. This one's pretty easy for me. Even with Eddie at quarterback, I'll take Miami getting points against a not good Patriots offense. I mean, the Patriots literally scored a touchdown off of a deflected Hail Mary. Like how often is that going to happen?
Karmic retribution.
the Dolphins, even with Teddy, like I like their chances to get the ball to Waddle, to Tyreek. The Patriots have been destroyed by like elite wide receivers this year. T. Higgins had a great game last week. Justin Jefferson did it to them. Stephon Diggs did it to them. Their defense that is like good, but not great. They have no ability to shut down top wide receivers. Tyreek and Waddle pretty quarterback proof. Teddy did not look impressive when he played earlier this year, but he's going to have a high completion percentage of the Dolphins' chances. Bert?
All right, let me read off the quarterbacks that the Patriots have beaten this year.
Okay.
Mitchell Trubisky, Jared Goff, Jacoby Brissett, Zach Wilson, Sam Ehlinger, Zach Wilson again, Colt McCoy, and that's it. And what do all those guys have in common? They are not starting this week in the NFL, and the Patriots are most likely not playing a starter again. I hate this team. I really do, but they have lost to every starting quarterback they played with the exception of Jared Goff, who is on his way to being a career backup. So give me the Patriots to win this week and then beat Case Keenum next week. And, it's all backups from here. And then get waxed.
I mentioned this to Bert on when we talked on the phone earlier, but there is a case that could happen, which if the Bills lose to the Bengals, potentially.
Yeah, but I already looked into that. It doesn't make
Well, let me just say it.
Because then
Week 18.
Okay.
Let me just say it. Week 18, they could be playing the Patriots, and they have this choice. Either they beat the Patriots, and then they get the Dolphins in the playoffs, or they lose to the Patriots, and they get to play the Patriots in the playoffs. So they're either facing the Dolphins or the Patriots for a third time. I think it's a pretty clear choice. You choose to play the Patriots, but who even knows what? I think they would still have a thin chance to get the 1 seed, so maybe that's not what would happen.
And that's also not how it would play out, because if they lose to the Bengals hold the tiebreaker over them and they lose in week 18, they would drop to a 3 seed and end up playing like the Ravens. So they would not do that. Like
there's some case maybe the
the Bengals would have to lose the next week, but I'm like there's just
maybe
no way
it's the Bengals lose to the Ravens too, and then that's the choice.
Yeah, I can't believe that the Bills would open themselves up to that.
And we'll see. I mean, I think they'll beat the Bengals, so it's not even a problem. But that's a funny stat, though, you brought up about. Yeah, I mean, and I said this. The Patriots beat a team that can take care of business against bad quarterbacks.
Oh, yeah, and that's the point I'm making. Is like they're going to play – Mac Jones is 0-3 against Miami. He's going to be 1-4 against them, but it's going to be a fake win against Teddy Bridgewater. So it's just
however, I do think the Dolphins are one of the few rather quarterback-proof teams in the NFL. So that's, I like the Dolphins.
Yeah, well, how did Teddy Bridgewater look when he played this year? That team didn't look too quarterback-proof.
No, he didn't. Which game did he play for? I don't even know.
He played the game after the Bills game, and I think he actually went out too. So
he got hurt too. He beat they lost to the Jets, but we didn't think the Jets defense was as good as it was at that time. Was the Jets clearly have a better defense than the Patriots to me. Okay, next up is the Browns at the Commanders. Bert, how do you see it?
I mean, you got to take the Commanders here. The Browns, I have been been waiting for like Deshaun to kind of have his, whatever game to whatever. Like he's a very talented player. He's probably a piece of crap human being. But I really thought that he was going to have a few good games down the stretch here. Hasn't happened for him. Washington with everything on the line. The only thing, it sounds like they're going to start Carson Wentz, which is not
decided yet. But I think Wentz is better than Heineke.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's one of those. It's like the Tebow magic, right? You know that he's not that good, but there's something going on with that kid that like he just has it figured out for some reason this season for them.
I mean, he got benched last week.
Yeah, but I mean, Tebow, people were calling for his head the entire year, and he ends up winning a playoff game that year. So it's just one of those weird situations. The NFL is so volatile. You know, I guess I just have to take Washington here just because Cleveland has laid eggs since Deshaun came back, and Washington being who they are, it feels like they get the win here. I mean,
Yeah, I think I saw a stat, and I think it was like the Browns were averaging 2.6 touchdowns a game with Brissett and 1 with the Browns. I'm taking the Commanders because the Browns are one of the worst teams at stopping the run in the NFL. I think Brian Robinson's going to have a really great game. I think the Commanders finally got back Chase Young. The Browns are also bad against the deep ball, so I like Terry's chance to have a good game. I like Dotson's chance to have a good game, who is a deep threat. Who's really coming on as a rookie for them. If Wentz is playing, that probably helps Logan Thomas a little bit, Curtis Samuel a little bit, maybe Terry McLaurin less. But yeah, I like the Commanders' chance to take care of business. I mean, they couldn't even beat the Saints in the fucking cold. Falcons Cardinals at the Falcons. I mean, one of the most useless games.
right up there with Jacksonville and Houston.
Well, this game is just like what is? I mean, give me the Cardinals. Like the Cardinals are getting points. I thought Trace McSorley looked like I was rooting for him to beat Brady. That would have been like that maybe would have been an audition to be a starting quarterback in the NFL next year. This is the Desmond Ritter Falcons versus the Cardinals. Like the Falcons are going to try to run the ball a lot. The Cardinals are going to Cardinal, but J.J. Watt announced his retirement. I'm assuming he wants to get a W. He's been playing great football too. So give me the Trace McSorley led Cardinals to get the dub, or at least they're getting 3.5. So whatever.
Yeah, it just feels like the Cardinals have too many gamers on their team to be this bad, and so with these guys that have had unsuccessful careers from a team perspective, this is a game where I think they get fat. So give me Nuke, give me JJ.
Nuke was brutal against he had 10 targets, 1 catch, 5 yards, I think. But
yeah.
Anyways,
last week. But I'm saying
no, he's been great on the year, but McSorley probably.
Well, minus the 6-game suspension, but yeah.
49ers at Raiders. Talk us through it.
I mean, the Niners are humming, dude. Like they are a lightsaber offense. Like you just hear like that, and that this is with a quarterback that maybe they got this kind of Brady thing going on. Who knows? And we know that Shanahan kind of has it figured out. So, I mean, I think you got to take San Fran here. I'd be just shocked if they drop a game here to Vegas.
Yep. Give me the Niners. The Raiders, look, Devontae Adams could do it. Josh Jacobs could do it, but they just lost to the Steelers. The Niners, George Kittle, again, has easily replaced Debo's production. Very quarterback-proof offense. Brock Purdy's mobile. CMC's there. Give me the Niners and their D. Next game, big game for playoff reasons. I believe the loser
revenge game.
I believe a revenge game. I believe the loser is eliminated. That's -2 against the Seahawks. I'm going to take the Jets. I just think Mike White is back, by the way. Even though they're laying points on the road, they still have that great defense. Obviously, I think Trevor's mobility to go with the good scheme by the Jags got to the Jets. Now, Geno is a mobile guy. He ran a 4.59 40, but he's not quite Trevor, I feel. And
at the combine, he's been in the league for like
at the combine, yes. But unsure if Tyler Lockett plays with his hand. And I think DK Metcalf can get his against anyone, even Sauce Gardner, but we don't even know if they'll be matched up. But give me the Jets -2 for max drama in the AFC.
Yeah, I mean, I might want to change my Arizona pick based on J.J. Watt's 3-cone drill. But what I was going to say is, it's a Geno Smith revenge game. We don't have a lot of parity between the two of us. I hate both these teams. Hate the Jets more. give me Geno. And I think both these teams are designed to turn into pumpkins. And New York is dead.
You're getting
Seattle
points at home, against the
exactly home dogs. It's one of my favorite bets. So yeah, give me Seattle.
Yeah, I mean, they could definitely win. Vikings at the Packers. The thing here about this game, the Vikings 3-point dogs, is we don't know if Christian Watson is playing, and I think that's like kind of a big thing because without Christian Watson, I don't think Green Bay is trotting out any real NFL wide receivers. B, the Vikings are terrible against the deep ball, which Christian Watson was on his way to a huge game against Miami. He almost got 2 touchdowns, too. Just missed. Rodgers just barely missed him. How do you? I think this one's you, Bert. How do you see it?
Yes. Man, how are the Packers not dead? It feels like they were dead 5 weeks ago.
Aren't they the leader to get the 7th seed now?
They're right in the mix. I think technically the leader is like Washington. Let's see. What do they have? Packers are at 21%. What's Washington at?
Washington. See, here's the reset button. Washington is, and this is ranked by ELO of the team, so this is how it views the teams.
Yeah, and they rank it with QBs as well.
Washington is only 29%.
Yeah, so slightly.
Seahawks are only 27%. The Lions. So I think it's literally a split between.
Yeah, it's like a 4-way race for that last spot.
All right. So what happens if they all
Panthers are in there too?
Yes, but they're not in as the wild card, so we're not.
Yeah, only in as the.
So if they all win, what happens if they all win out? Oh, they can't all win out
because eventually the Packers and the Lions maybe play to end the year or something like that. I don't know. It's all divisional games in the last round, so. So yeah, I mean, Vikings have just had this crazy, ridiculously lucky season. Packers are kind of putting on that playoff push. I kind of like the Packers to put it on them. So yeah, God, it is hard to not take Minnesota +3 with how it's played out. This is a tough one. I guess I'm going with the devil I know, and that is Aaron Rodgers in December. As much as I think he's a choke artist, like he's a great regular season player. So give me Green Bay.
Yeah, this one's really hard because if I knew Christian Watson was playing, I'm taking the Packers. If not, then it's like the Packers are playing who? And the Vikings are going to just throw the ball to Justin Jefferson. They can't stop Dalvin Cook. So I guess I'll take the uncertainty that Watson doesn't play and be on the Viking side. And so I'll just take the Vikings +3. Just a coin toss. I think it's like probably my first time picking the Vikings in a while. I'm not a believer in them, but Packers going to be thrown to like Randall Cobb and co without Christian Watson. That's brutal. Moving on, Rams Chargers. Not sure the Chargers have any incentive to play anyone anymore. Like maybe they can slightly improve their wild card standing. I guess they would prefer to be the 6th seed. You do not want to play the 2 seed, but you don't really want to play the 3 seed either. And you can't win the division. So it's like you're going to have to play either the Bills.
I would still rather play Cincinnati than KC or Buffalo.
It's so minute, though. It's so minute. It's like, it's really a toss.
Yeah, but it feels like, I don't know, like the Patriots.
Like you're going to play players so that you're a well-oiled machine, but I'll take the give me the Rams +6.5. Where
that's what I was gonna. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm gonna take the Rams +6.5 because the Chargers are bad against the run. Cam Akers got going here. If I knew the Chargers cared to win, which I think Staley does, see, he was getting roasted for doing his cat cows.
I heard that. Yeah, the cat throwing up. Stretch or whatever.
The cat cows, yeah. I mean, look, that's just good for your posture, so people need to chill. But I'll take the Rams.
No, nobody is denying that. Like, hey, you should keep like you should do the things that make your body feel good. To be doing it on the sideline and like running stairs is the guy's a freaking weirdo.
Whatever, maybe he is. So yeah, I'll take the Rams plus 6.5. They just laid 50. Give them a little momentum. They really should not care about winning games, but they want to give Mayfield a tryout. Honestly, I think is what it is. And what a great story for Mayfield. So I got the Rams plus 6.5. You're on the same side, Bert?
Yeah, I mean, what did I just say? Home dogs, my favorite bet. It's a LA game. And yeah, are the Rams away? Technically, but they are home dogs here. So give me the Rams.
Do they have the same stadium, right?
Yes, they share SoFi.
Yeah, what does this home game even mean for the Chargers? This is
It's like when the Giants play the Jets, yeah.
That's funny. Pitt, Baltimore, Ravens only 3-point favorites. Take us away, Bert.
Got to be Baltimore, right? I mean, they have this is probably Chris Berman's top 5 game of the year. It's a very boomer game. Pittsburgh, Baltimore. Going to see a lot of purple camo. A lot of people making Facebook posts. So yeah, give me Baltimore -3.
Yeah, Lamar might play. I saw a report that Harrison, bro, we can always count on you for the Steelers game. Honestly, I would rather see the Steelers win this one. I think it's just funny if they are alive to make the playoffs with Kenny Pickett and co. But I'm going to take the Ravens, where I saw a report Lamar might not run as much if he even plays this one. They don't really have a ton to play for this week, but yeah, give me.
I feel the opposite. I think if Baltimore wins, that opens up that final week game between.
Man, our teaser guys always come out for these Steeler games too.
But yeah, I mean, I think having Pittsburgh or Baltimore, Cincinnati to close the year for that division title would be awesome as well.
And I don't think we've planned it this way, but I think I've been the first to talk on almost like every Bills game somehow. Or a large majority of them. But Monday Night Football, one of the games of the year, especially, January 2nd. This game is going to decide a lot for who wins the Money in Best Ball, potentially. I'm taking the Bills, of course. The Bills, I think, should be favored against everyone, home or away, even the Eagles with Hurt. So give me 3-6 Bills Mafia. The Bills are a team that, people are like, oh, you can run on the Bills. Looking at what the Dolphins did, you can only run on the Bills when they care if you can pass. So against the Dolphins, they're trying to stop the pass. They'll let you run the ball. So they'll let Joe Mixon run the ball this game, but they're going to try to defend the pass. Give me 3-6. Bills Mafia. That was pretty sick, don't lie. Bills -1.5 for me.
Yeah, so I've spent probably like the last 5 to 6 weeks doing the Doctor Strange in Infinity War, where he's like, I'm running through all of the computations of how the Patriots could get into the playoffs. And, he has one computation, and then at the end of Endgame, he looks over at Tony Stark and he gives him the one. And the only way that really happens is if the Bills win this game and we get to play Case Keenum week 18. So I'm taking the Bills -1.5 here for the hopes of my team getting in the playoffs. As much as I don't want to watch them play in the playoffs, I'd love them to make the playoffs.
Well, then, seeing how much overlap we had this week, maybe we're just the squarest guys out there, but we are on the same page for every single game except for 3 of them. That the difference would be Miami and New England game, the Jets and Seattle game, the Minnesota and Green Bay game. We're on the same page for a bunch of the huge favorites. That would be Dallas, that would be Giants, that would be Kansas City, that would be the Eagles, that would be Detroit, that would be the Niners. So this is what we're rocking with this, guys. My sushi is here. I'm very hungry. I'm going to go eat. Not sure. Next week, maybe we'll do that one together, Bert, in your basement, if we do it at all. Week 18, sometimes a meaningless week for some teams. means everything for the other teams. But give us your closing thoughts of Week 17 picks, Bert.
Yeah, really looking forward to the year wrapping up and then getting into the playoffs. Really a bummer how the Patriots have finished out this year, but it's going to be okay. And then college football playoff on New Year's Eve, which should be fun to watch as well.
Hell yeah. All right, guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We appreciate you for that. We'll be, I think we'll be picking all the playoff games together for sure. And we'll pick week 18 maybe together. We'll see how that goes.
It's going to be really dependent on how or when the Bills get knocked out, how that
We're going to the
goes.
Super Bowl, guys. Mortgage your house, not financial advice, and put it on Buffalo. Just joking. Obviously, do not do that. But all right, guys.
I mean, or do. I mean, we're not here to judge you.
We'll see you in 2023. Peace.